Hey, you might notice some stuff looks different, a lot more zoomed in than usual. I got a different camera. Autofocus. Okay. Also, my window's open because it gets insanely hot in here. You might hear some random ambient noises. My hair is right around the point where it just explodes out randomly for no reason, but I can't really do anything about that. So you're just going to have to deal with that. Anyways, Reddit person, Welchmers 5 in our bass lessons, which is a place that I go sometimes on the internet, is asking about a place they can find chords, arpeggios, modes, and other theory stuff that would help them improve their bass skills. And I asked them specifically what they're looking to learn. And then they said this. Cool. So I'm thinking about bass players who are generally in this position. You've been playing for, I don't know, maybe like a year. Maybe you know like a major scale or a minor scale or both, and you know a bunch of your favorite bass lines. You really like the bass and you want to play stuff that's a little more interesting. And maybe you want to like write your own bass lines and make them sound cool too. Let's delve into that. So you can play the C major scale right here. Cool. Those notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Awesome. But who cares? We're gonna get to that. So now that we have this major scale, we can just start on different notes in the major scale and go up and down an octave using diatonic notes, which just means notes within the key, to get different modes. And then they all have fancy names, which I'll get to in a second. So here's C Ionian. Here's D Dorian. So that would be in the key of C, but starting on D gets you the Dorian mode. So instead of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, you get D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D. You know, it's the same going up and going down. So then for Phrygian, E Phrygian, you have E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. For Lydian, you have F Lydian, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Then you have Mixolydian, which is G Mixolydian, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A Aeolian is just a natural minor scale. So that's like the minor scale that most people know. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And then you have B Locrian, which Locrian doesn't really come up almost ever, at least in my experience as a musician so far. It sounds like that. It's B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And when I played all those, you could probably hear that they all kind of sound like the same, but a little bit different. And that's basically what a mode is. It's like the same thing, but it's a little bit different. So. There's all your modes. Cool. Are modes like super important to know? Yeah, it kind of like depends on what kind of music you're gonna play. But I would say at least for modes of like the major scale, that comes up in a fair amount of different kinds of music. Most of the stuff that you'll encounter in popular music is basically like major or minor most of the time. Cool, so we covered what modes are. Chords are really like kind of a pretty in-depth conversation. That's not really something that I could cover and explain like every single aspect of in a single video. Chords is kind of vague. So we're just going to pick like one chord and we'll talk about that. So a cool chord that bass players use a lot is the 10th. So this is the 8th fret on the E string and the 9th fret on the G string. That gets you C and E. It's like a major third, but you move the E up an octave because it gets you a more open sound. It's a little more nice to listen to. This is kind of muddy. Or this is very clear. So anyway, we got C and E. And then what you could do is just stay in the key of C major and work your way all the way up the scale. And then that way you'll just learn a whole bunch of chords in the key of C major that you can use, which is a good start. This bass is a little bit shy of the frets needed for me to do this all the way through the octave. So maybe I'll just do this in A minor. Let's do A minor. This is 5 and 5 on the E and G strings. It's A and C, that's a minor 10th. There's only major and minor 10ths. Don't let anybody tell you different. Okay. If you go to the 7th fret on the E and G strings, you get B and D. 8 and 9, you get C and E, that one I was talking about before. D and F on the 10th fret on the E and G strings. E and G on the 12th frets of the E and G strings. 13 and 14 on the E and G strings get you F and A. G and B on the 15th and 16th frets, respectively, for all of these, including this one, of the E and G strings. So like the first number I say is the E string, and the second one that I say is the G string, if that's not clear. And then on the 17th fret, you get A and C on the E and G strings. And then you've just harmonized the A minor scale in tenths. So you could do that with the A minor scale. You could do that with the C major scale. Knowing your fretboard obviously helps a lot with this. And if you don't know the notes on your fretboard, you should learn them. And maybe I'll cover that topic in a different video because I don't want this one to be like a million hours long because no one will watch it. And then arpeggios. There's a little bit of a difference between like an arpeggio and arpeggiating something, but not like a huge difference. So like if you're going to arpeggiate something, it just means that you're breaking it up and playing it note by note. So if you're going to do that, like with this chord, which sounds like mud right now, because the volume was low for some reason. Why don't we do this chord? So if I was to go instead of, that would be an example of me having arpeggiated something. But when you play arpeggios, which is slightly different, typically like that means you're playing the root third and fifth. If I was to do a 2-octave arpeggio in like G major, It would look like that. I'll slow that down a little bit. So maybe that's tough to see exactly what I'm playing. So that was probably a lot easier to see. Let me know if that is helpful, because if it's not, I'll just stop doing it and save me and you some time. All right. That's the difference between arpeggios and arpeggiating something. So like what I would recommend if you're in the position that Weltschmerz 5 is in, is you know this scale, right? Cool. Learn all the modes of that scale and get all of those internalized, like know what the names of them are, know what notes make them up, know how they sound relative to each other, get really comfortable with those ideas, and then start shifting it around into different keys after you can like make chords out of these different modes and harmonize the scales in different ways, all the way up and down the scales, and arpeggiate them. And you'll get so much out of that. You really will. That is all I have to say about that. So you should definitely like and subscribe to this video, because it helps get my videos out there more to help people like you. And maybe do the thing with the bell if it makes you feel groovy. That's all I have to say. So I'm out. Peace. Hey. So I lied. I actually do have one more thing to say, which is that if you haven't already, you should totally go check out my new single, Dragon's Den, on Spotify or Apple Music or Bandcamp or wherever you listen to your music at. Now I have nothing more to say. So definitely like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, because you want to see these videos, and I know you want to see these videos. All right, bye. I'm gone. Later. See ya. Bass. Oh yeah, I'm making a video. So most bass players probably learned the C major scale at some point. If you don't know what that is, it's that. That's what it is. It's this. Here, let's just zoom this out. You could go like this instead. Cool. If you're not going to make music with it, it doesn't really bring you any value. Okay? If you have the C scale, right there, you can also play it over here. I still feel like you can't see my bass.